It's part 3, baby!
Let's go! It's part 3 of what?
I don't even know anymore. We're back, baby!
We're back, baby!
Come on!
This is our 1964 Mercury Comet. I inherited it from my dad, and we're building it using mostly free parts. The only piece we've paid for so far is the Ford fuse box. $40 from the junkyard. We used that to wire up some heated power seats from our old Audi 200 project, which you can watch up at the corner there. Now we're getting the old bird back on jacks to completely patch and rebuild the rotting structure of the Comet, so it'll be strong enough for future plans. Alright people, we've been talking about it a while, but we're finally doing it. We're here, pulling the engine.
We've been doing this for like so long now.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're finally doing it today. Today's the day the engine's coming out. We've got the manifolds disconnected. We're gonna work at disconnecting the engine mounts from up front there, and eventually this baby is gonna come out of here. James is gonna work at disconnecting the drive shaft. We'll get the transmission cross member out, and at that point, this mamma jamma should be ready to pluck out of here. What say you, partner?
Probably not.
Okay, well, with that sort of optimism, we might get to the end of this.
Well, guys,
you gotta understand, normally he gives great life advice. Anyway.
if there's a carrot in the ground, pull the carrot. Because there's only one way the carrot
What?
will really carrot. Exactly.
Okay, back to it. And now we have the engine out.
Now she's out. Now a change of plans, but you'll be filled in eventually.
Yeah.
Not in that kind of way, unless you want to.
Kind of stinks because we might just be dropping the whole fuel injector. We had to cut so many harnesses and lines to get that out. However, we have the engine out. We're dragging it back. We're gonna find a place to put it. Tramp! Tramp! Alright, back at the shop, back with the Comet, back with the engine. JB and I can't get this thing to plug in and just run smoothly. We might just carburetor swap it. It's not what we wanted to do, but it's what we might do. Full curtain pull, that's what's happening. Right now we have to comb through this and size it up, see if it's even gonna fit in the engine bay. Cause looking at it, it looks like, yeah, maybe it might. But then you look again and you're like, ah, but you know what? And you put the manifolds on there and it might not. Front rails are gonna be somewhat of an issue. Not to mention, I think a brake booster is just out of the question. You may have to build a new wiring harness, and because I already installed the Ford Explorer fuse box in here, I can always add more fuses and relays for extra fuel pumps or whatever wires or sensors or leads we need to run. We're gonna have to figure it out. So we're gonna figure it out. I don't know if I told you, but my dreams were recently crushed with this engine. Good news, we got that engine out for the Comet. So we finally have a project. I mean, we've had a project this entire time, but I mean, now it's really moving and grooving. All the parts that we're taking for it are from a vehicle whose wheelbase is 16 inches wider than the Comet's, which poses a number of issues. Well, here, I'll just take you through it. 1 second. So, for starters, this Chevy 5-liter is clearly computer controlled by that computer over there. It all needs to be plugged in, and when you start cutting out sensors, that can pose an issue. I remember I had one of these back in the day, a 5.7 liter of the same vintage in '93, and just because the coolant sensor was unplugged, the coolant temperature sensor, it wouldn't start. It would crank, but it wouldn't start. It wasn't telling the ignition to fire because that one sensor was unplugged. That's the first issue, is we don't have everything that plugs in. So that kind of shoots this out the window without a full wiring diagram. Issue the second. That engine sits in a cross member, triple plated and reinforced, and well, in the Comet, as you can see, there's just nothing. So engine mounts are built into the strut towers, but then that's the hole through the dash for the steering column down there. See? So we have the Chevy steering column. I mean, it has some play. The old steering box went right here. It bolts up like out here on the truck, which means if we were to even think of trying to make that angle work, we would immediately contact the strut towers and we would need to cut out and reform all of this structural sheet metal here. So we would probably be converting to a tube front end, which is a pain in the ass and a half. But I digress. Those all sound like future tire fire problems, not current tire fire problems. Current tire fire problems are that we have a pile of parts that we're now not going to use sitting in the middle of our otherwise clean and cleanly and spacious garage. And we may end up completely changing the power steering system too, because there's about 26 inches between the front rails that we can fit this engine in between. But I'm not sure if we can make A, that power steering box work, and B, we're gonna need to change a power steering pump if we decide to retain power steering. Because we can't rightly take a power steering pump from a truck and mate it up to a power steering rack from like a Ford Fiesta that happens to be the same width. You know, that's not how that works at all. We're going to start tearing down this engine so that we have all the sensors and harnesses and valuable bits off of it. We have it all on a nice, no, I wouldn't say organized, but it's in a pile ready to sell, and we can start moving on to the next step. Till then, I'm gonna get some beauties, gonna get a time lapse going, get this engine stripped down and ready to drop into that Comet with hopefully some more ease. Hopefully without that whole aluminum accessory bracket contacting the front rails, if I do things right. We shall see. Till then. Wait, what is this still doing on here? Get this right here. Release me, demon. Thank you. I swear, if this ground is the one thing holding this in. Oh! They got me. Feel bad. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, it's dirty. It's disgusting. It's grimy. There's sludge everywhere. It's not good. This this engine was in dire need of us, and I definitely don't feel bad about tearing it down now. So this is going to be running a lot better once we clean it up, clean it out clearly. There's a lot of sludge and grime and debris and buildup that we're gonna have to comb through. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some port matching or something, because this head shape is abhorrent. There's definitely some improvements that can be made here. Oh my God. Come on now, really? Really? That's the quality we're working with, folks. So this is what you get when you get an engine for free. That's completely okay. I would take all of this all day because it's all free. So thank you very much. We're gonna start combing through it. We got the engine torn down. We've got to clean it up. We have to fit it in there. Hopefully without all those parts on it, it will fit up a lot easier now. I don't know if it's gonna make designing mounts any easier. We'll figure that part out. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Stick with us, and we're gonna get a project together eventually. I'm not gonna say that we've done this before. This is both mine and James Brown's first project car build, so we're both learning as we go here. We're both making mistakes, like biting off more than we can chew, clearly. But that's part of the fun of it, you know? So we're gonna keep working through it. We're gonna get an engine running one way or another. I think next video, we're going to be trying to fit up the engine into the Comet. We're going to separate the computer controlled transmission, that 4L60E, and swap it for like a what is it, Turbo Hydromatic 350 or 400, depending on what we have available. As Joey Diaz says, if we're walking on thin ice, we might as well dance on it. If we're already buying an unknown condition transmission from a junkyard out of a parts car, we might as well buy the drive shaft and rear axle too, and at least we know it'll all bolt together. I don't know if the rear truck axle is going to fit. I'm not going to lie, I'm really apprehensive about that. But one step at a time. We'll let you know in the next video. Keep it frosty, stay black, and tire fire. Oh!